Welcome back, my brothers and sisters. It is no longer the weekend. It is a new week, which means you guys get a new episode of Second Legacy, and we have got some delicious content to catch you up from the weekend of gun control. As you guys were having a good time, gun control was full at it, and we're going to brief you right now, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think in the comments field below. But Tim, I'm having a good time. It's kind of like wrapped in emotional depression, but at least we got to tell people stuff, and then we can have some fun while we do it. How you doing, man?
Doing good. You know, if the anti-gunners are good for one thing, it's, keeping the conversation going and sometimes laughing at them because of their incredible stupidity. Yeah. But,
but other than that, the usual.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Tim, we've got an amazing smattering to catch you up on, right? Because we've got The View, always good time. Always. Couple clips from them, and then we have a senator in the Democratic Party who decided to just full on use the Second Amendment and go after freedom of speech. This it's gonna be a good time. Now, guys, as we get into this, make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. We would love to have you help us join us in the freedom quest that we're on every single day. But you know what? Enough setup, Tim. I'm excited. Let's go to the amazing Joy Behar, Mr. Producer number one, please.
People from small town people. That to me is the divisive part of this song. I mean, it's a deplorable song and it's annoying. Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. Well, that S might fly in the city. Good luck. It's very divisive and provocative, but I defend his right to do this video.
Absolutely.
Because they can't censor me, they shouldn't censor him either.
So Tim, do you want to go from the positive here, or do you want to go from the, oh my gosh, what just happened here? What angle do you want to go to first? It's Monday.
They're such idiots. Man, what is it with this song that is driving these lunatics so loony? It just cracks me up, man.
I think they're pot committed.
I don't get it. It's like, well, they try one angle. Well, he recorded this in front of a courthouse that had, a bad event happen over 100 years ago. I'm sure that's why he picked it. It's been in like 5 other music videos, It's like, and that doesn't work out. Like, okay, well, no, see, he's talking about a gun here, and if you try to take my gun away, I want to resist. And oh my gosh, it's so divisive. Does this woman not watch MTV or whatever the music thing is these days?
Tim, you not only delivered a very poignant point right there, you also just sounded like such a boomer.
I know. Well, hey, no, boomers didn't watch MTV. That was Gen X.
That's true.
Yeah, that was ours.
Like Nirvana days, right?
Well before Nirvana.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Nice. All right. Well, I've got a few things that I would like to bring up for the discussion amongst, of course, yourself, you esteemed colleague of mine, and also other people. So I find it interesting. Very interesting. It's clearly very divisive and provocative, Tim. Divisive and provocative because I got a gun my grandpa gave me. I think the phrase you like to use is clutch my pearls. I mean,
I tell you.
So,
old grandpappy.
Old grandpappy gave me that gun. So here's the thing. I think personally they're pot committed on this. I think they jumped the shark and now they have to stick with it because to save face. Because everyone on the planet is like, why are we upset about this?
Yeah. I would say the ratio is definitely in favor of why are we talking about this? I mean,
why are we talking about this?
Every short I've seen, every video that's out there, people are like, people of all backgrounds, mind you, are like,
everyone.
What is this? I mean, this is so funny.
They're like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this? So what are we not to be talking about while we're talking about this? I love the divisive and the provocative nature of this video, particularly from Joy Behar's perspective, because calling people who own guns criminals and murderers and complicit with murder and all those that's not divisive or provocative at all, Tim.
Yes.
That's not. But this music video,
can't have it.
This one is though.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it was so incredibly violent. I mean, the fake video really of riots that they used just to demonize people, it was just horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst part. But you're a murderer because you're complicit and everyone's blood's on your hands because you believe in the Second Amendment. Just so you know. But that's not provocative.
I'm an ist, misogynist, racist.
You are an ist.
Yeah,
you are an ist. All the ists.
Yeah, all the ists.
But you know what? I'm going to be fair, Tim, because here on Second Legacy, we're always fair. We may be sarcastic and we may be kind of funny sometimes, but we're always fair. She did say they can't censor me and they shouldn't censor him, which I think is valid. Honestly, she gets some props on that part. But this is where it goes downhill, Tim. Mr. Producer, can you throw number 2 because her co-host kind of screws that.
I'm actually not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'm pleased that you are, and
Well,
I'm pleased that you
do
are.
agree that he should be allowed to sing whatever he wants.
As a lawyer, when I put my legal hat on,
Yeah, okay.
I don't believe in censorship.
Right.
However, this man is from Macon, Georgia.
Oh, he's from Georgia, so he's exempt from his
Oh
rights.
yeah. Yeah. He's,
Let me put
he's
my
exempt
lawyers-
from all that. Yeah.
Let me put my lawyer's hat on. You don't have rights, mister.
Wait. So, well, and Your Honor, of course, my defendant has all of these rights, and we don't believe in censorship in the United States. Like behind the scenes, it's like he's from Macon. Whoa, Your Honor, there's been a development.
Yeah. Let's not
Like,
let's not
what?
apply stereotypes.
Like what? So
My guy
so,
from Macon,
is there-
racist.
Yeah, I mean, is there a complete list of places where censorship is acceptable and is not?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, I don't know how you defend that statement. I you know what? When I have my legal hat on, I don't believe in censorship. However, I mean, he is from Macon, so never mind. What, Tim? And this is a question. You're probably have something to say about this. What happened to the American hat? Like when did it become about vocation and like location of where you can have your rights? Like when did it become a thing?
They've been doing this forever, man. And
Yeah, but when though? Was it the 70s? Was it the 80s? Like when was it?
before I was politically aware, it's been going on.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling to me
Yeah.
that statement doesn't raise a whole lot more questions, and it's just part of a dialogue and a conversation. It's like, what?
We start off the clip with them saying, "Well, this song is just so divisive." Then listen to the words that come out of their
Right.
mouths.
It's just
beyond
insane.
divisive.
And if you, what's even more insane, if you put this put these two clips in context, Joy Behar just provided more reason than Sonny Hostin did. Okay, if you go to the left of Joy Behar, I got nothing for you, bro. Like, this show kills me sometimes. Like, it's great for content, but it's insanity. That statement blew my mind.
Yeah. And I guarantee you there's some outside pressure there somewhere because Whoopi Goldberg
Oh.
is forever stepping in it. And
Oh.
and so that disclaimer she gave that seemed so reasonable, like, well, I don't want to be censored, so he shouldn't be censored either, but let me tell you what I think
But,
here.
however.
Yeah, but something prompted that. Something uncomfortable.
Oh.
There's no way that she just threw that out there because she just had a moment of lucidity because they don't. They're,
Because they don't have those.
No.
Because they don't have those. Because after all, we don't want to be provocative
yeah. Oh,
or divisive. Good Lord, like the most divisive people on the TV. But you know what, Tim? I think that was a good warm up.
Okay.
I think that was a good warm up. We're about to get into the zone where I'm excited to see your reaction because a little inside baseball, guys. Tim hasn't actually been fully briefed on this situation to get the genuine raw emotion. I'm pretty amped about this one. So let's get this. So one of the things, Tim, and we've talked about this a few times, they will use the Second Amendment as a punching bag, and then they will use the exact same tactics and the impetus from the Second Amendment safety push to infringe part of the rights. We've seen it multiple times where you start with the Second Amendment, then you go to due process, then you go to the First Amendment, all the ways they do it. I mean, you would concur with that's a pretty easy pattern to see, right?
yeah. And it's something we warn about all the time.
All the time. Well, you know what? I don't know what it is, if we're prophetic or we're like Nostradamus, but Mr. Producer, could you throw number 3 up there for me? This also happened this weekend, Tim. So Senator Gillibrand touts bill to ban 3D printed gun blueprints. And then number 4, Mr. Producer. Getting a gun in New York City is easier with a router than a Ruger. So Senator Kristen Gillibrand hopes the 3D Printed Gun Safety Act of 2023, which bans internet distribution of blueprints for 3D printed firearms, will suppress the burgeoning illegal pipeline of homemade untraceable ghost guns, both locally and nationwide. So Tim, where's your immediate brain go to on that one?
That first sentence was painful.
A router than a Ruger, baby.
Yeah, it's easier to get a gun. I mean, okay, so she's suggesting you should use a Ruger, which is a firearm, to get another gun?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Or-
I can use a
yeah, I
router,
mean,
or I
like-
can use a Ruger. Give me the gun,
I
bud.
mean, router. You know what? Like we
idiot.
seriously need to come. We seriously need to come up with like a T-shirt line that legitimately every time they say something where it's like what, and like router than Ruger. That is so good. Like you could have to do a math equation. It would be so gold. But
Anyway.
but it's just we're moving quickly into a point now where this is in the United States Senate. Okay, this is not a local state, crazy blue state. This is the United States Senate.
Yeah.
And now we're moving to ban internet distribution of blueprints. These are digital files, Tim.
Yes.
This is not creating it. This is sharing of content.
It's information. They're banning information.
Yes, absolutely, because it's too dangerous and you can't have it. Lord knows what you would do with that kind of power, Tim.
Well, all you have to do to save the files is put them in pornography books and leave them in school libraries, and they'll be perfectly safe.
Oh,
What? Did I go there?
You are terrible.
What?
You are terrible. I can't believe you would bring that up. It's education, Tim. That is a sacred cow.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, this
that
is
is
education. Everybody needs to know how to print a gun.
No, not know how. Just the blueprints, Tim. It doesn't even have instructions. It just has. It's like an architectural drawing. Well, that is verboten.
Banned.
That is verboten.
Banned. Get rid of them.
But hold on.
Ban the internet.
But
get rid of the way they
you know
transmit
what?
them.
That's right. But Tim, this part, I put this in here just for you. I think I texted you this over the weekend. But let's get it. Number 5, Mr. Producer. Gillibrand announced the bill Monday at the Detectives Endowment Association's Manhattan headquarters along state lawmakers, gun violence prevention advocates, and union president Paul D. I can't remember this guy's name. Giacomo, whatever. Quote, "Let me be clear. We aren't just talking about water pistols here," said Gillibrand. "We're talking about real, fully operational semi-automatic firearms like AR-15 rifles and Beretta M9 handguns. Because many of the 3D printed guns are made of plastic. They can bypass metal detectors commonly used at secure public areas. The people are going to go into these public spaces and using these ghost guns to commit crimes. And law enforcement is finding it more and more difficult to stop them." What?
Somebody's been watching Die Hard on rerun.
I mean, like
the Glock
like,
7's
no
back. It's porcelain.
Dude,
you can go through metal detectors.
It's impossible. You can't see it. There's no metal.
Yeah.
There's no firing pins. There's no barrels.
No
And,
slide. No springs.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's no springs. But if you make a plastic spring, let's just do that. Let's just start there. Let's just make a plastic spring. So okay,
hurts,
so Tim,
doesn't it?
let's just.
Yeah.
It really does. So let's just talk about it for a second. On first of all, let's bypass the fact that she went with Beretta M9s, like you said, from like the 80s. Like that's a unique.
They're
that's a
printing
vintage bull.
AR-15s and HKP-7 M8s, and it's just VP-7
Printing brown
DZs.
Besses.
Yeah.
They're printing blunderbusses.
Pick random specific firearms they're printing.
Exactly. Just old-time muskets. So, Tim, just off the top of your head, what kind of CUP or copper units of pressure are we talking about inside an AR-15 barrel combustion? Like when the round actually goes, I mean, we're talking 35 to 55,000 CUP, aren't we?
Yeah, you're right.
Somewhere
at, like 55,000 PSI. I don't think
in that range.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
I'm pretty sure there's not a plastic available that could maintain that level of heat and pressure.
Come on, man. They had that in the 80s with the porcelain Glock 7 from Die Hard.
Oh,
it had a porcelain barrel. It can, just like your toilet can contain an explosion, so can your porcelain barrel.
And a matching Beretta M9.
Yep.
So, like, we're just rolling around with plastic ARs that have no metal parts on them, and they can go through all the security protocols. And so bypassing that level of crazy, because that's not even possible if you're not catching up the sarcasm. Now we're going to go into the next part that I found so interesting here, Tim. People are going to go into these public spaces and using these ghost guns to commit crimes. Tim, I thought the guns were the ones committing crime. I thought the gun itself committed the crime, but people did?
Yeah, that's weird that they would actually go there. They screwed up. I'm sure that somebody got lectured, maybe shown the door.
Man, you can't be saying what really is going on in the same sentence.
Extremely racist to say that.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was very remiss. I mean, you can't be saying something that factual in the same sentence with fully printed AR-15s with no metal parts and M9s that go through metal detectors.
Yes.
You just can't be having that.
No.
But I wish this was over, Tim, but it's not over.
No.
We've got more parts of. No, it's not.
No.
So now,
what a horrible weekend.
What a horrible. It was not a good weekend, Tim. It was bad. I was here the whole time. All right, so Mr. Producer, let's go to number 6 because we need more context here. Clearly, we have obviously missed something. So regulations for 3D printing gun blueprints were undercut by the Trump administration, which shifted governance from the State Department to the Commerce Department. The move lifted pressure to oversee files that weren't ready for insertion into a 3D printer, but could easily be sent by email and converted into the proper format. So, Tim, these weren't even ready to be printed. These are literally the same type of drawings that you would see on an AR-15 disassembly mat.
Yeah.
This wasn't even ready for insertion into a printer, and they're pissed because the Trump administration said, yeah, this is dumb.
Yeah. Well, of course.
You know.
Because here again, you have people that don't know anything about firearms, and you have people that don't know anything about technology. And then you have these politicians speaking to them saying, look, we can print these plastic guns that go through metal detectors, and they're distributing them on the internet, and you got to ban these deadly files of mass destruction.
Files of mass. There's another T-shirt.
Seriously, and then you have all the other people that don't know anything about guns or technology going, oh my gosh, ban that. Oh, and definitely ban that, and oh my gosh,
all the
put
things.
me in a rubber room. Oh my gosh,
and don't say scary things in my rubber room. Don't say them.
Yeah,
because I can't get past the gun choices. So legitimately, who told her specifically to say Beretta M9? I want to know that one.
Right.
Because
she could have started off with the M17. It's at least half plastic to begin with from the factory.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. The Beretta M9 is a lot more metal than a Glock. So why did they go with Beretta M9? And then on the other side of that, I'm going on a rant. I'm sorry. And on the other end of that, there's nothing special about the M9 that would make it capable to be plastic or polymer versus metal. It shoots the same round as a Glock 17.
Yeah.
It's not like it has higher pressures. It's not like it's this magical distribution of unicorn fairy dust. It doesn't exist. Like, why? It's just, it hurts. Why?
It's entertaining.
It doesn't even make sense.
At least, maybe they were coming from the grocery store and they saw the little circle with the slash through it over the M9 that's universal. I've seen all over the world.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
Tim, I think that's it. I think they were in a grocery store or somewhere where there was a restriction upon firearms for reasonable gun safety, of course. And they saw the Beretta M9 and they said, what's that gun? That's so iconic. Well, yeah, it's iconic because it's 40 years old and no one uses it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just... Anyway,
that's probably what happened.
That's enough of
They're probably in there getting some ice cream with Biden, and they're walking out, and they go, "Oh, what gun is that on the door?" And the Secret Service agent goes, "Oh, that's an M9." And there they had their talking point for the day. That's what it was.
There it is. Yep. There it is. Well, speaking of talking points, man, you set me up so good for that, and you didn't even know this was coming, Mr. Producer. Could we go number 7? I've got some talking points for Tim from Alvin Bragg, the District Attorney of Manhattan. This guy's a treat every time he talks. Quote. The rapid proliferation of 3D printed guns poses a major threat to the safety of Manhattanites. Anyone can now manufacture dangerous and deadly weapons right in their own home and apartment, said Bragg. One key reason it is so easy to print 3D guns is that detailed blueprints can be shared with just a few clicks over the internet. And I thank Senator Gillibrand for her leadership on this issue at the federal level. Man, that sounded so official. It sounded so good. I feel so safe. Even though you're banning the First Amendment and you're blaming Second Amendment issues. Like, any other ones you want to hit? You got due process, First Amendment, Second Amendment. How many more amendments do we want to go for?
And
how many more?
What's crazy is they think that this is okay, right?
Yes.
And they're going to ban knowledge. That's all this is just information.
All the knowledge.
And then what are they going to do? Charge people like... So you email somebody a file, and the file has one of these things attached to it, sitting in your spam folder. You don't even know it's there, and they come in and search your computer and find this file you didn't even know how to use or open or was even there. And what, they're going to put you in prison for 10 years? I mean, I don't understand. Oh my gosh, just the enforcement side of this would be so draconian. Just to know what people are sending, like making sure we're going to sniff every email packet that goes out and make sure, and the government's going to have access to everything to make sure that you're not sending any files that might be used by a 3D printer. I mean, and then are they going to regulate all parts? Because people do legitimately print small parts to fix things. Does that mean any gun part is going to be a problem?
Are we going for a national registry and everything has to go through a federal format to print anything from a 3D printer?
Yeah.
Wow.
ATF gets a new division where you have to submit your files to ATF for approval.
I mean, take guns out of it for a second. What if you need, because 3D printing, we've talked about it on another episode, 3D printing is the future, whether you're in the Second Amendment world or not. Like, say you want to create a pot, or you want to make a cool thing for a kid, or you want to make a name, or you want to make something like a pencil holder. I mean, like any of these things that you could make with a 3D printer, are you now going to have to go through a centralized database and get approval to make sure it passes the sniff test, and then you can print it in your own home with something you own? and you're doing without distribution? No.
And here's the other thing.
It's
They're talking about the distribution of files, right? But 3D printers,
Correct.
where they can have to regulate those because you're talking about the distribution of a file somebody else made. But what about the people that are making the files? You can make your own files.
Exactly.
3D scanners are out there. You can scan parts, clean them up, and print them. People do it all the time. And you don't. They've made it so easy to do that I've watched my son play with his 3D printer. He's making his own parts to fix his airsoft toys and stuff. You know, it's just
Right.
It's crazy cool what they can accomplish with that, and it doesn't take a genius to do it. So they're starting off saying, well, we got to crack down on the distribution and regulate these files. But the reality is this is pre-crime stuff because they're going to have to identify the people that
Yes.
know how, they have the technology, have the know-how in the brain, how to use the 3D printer. We're going to go after them too and charge them on pre-crimes. Or we're just going to ban 3D printers or regulate them.
right. No, exactly. And so now let's take this one step further, Tim, because I mean, legitimately, what they are talking about here is they are talking about banning the distribution of digital files, which are protected under the First Amendment, by the way. That is a freedom of speech issue all day long. So if it's a digital file that shows how to assemble a 3D printed firearm, what about like I said, go back to my earlier example, what about the disassembly mats for AR-15s or Glocks that you have on a workbench? Or if I hand that to my neighbor, am I now having an issue with distribution? Like what?
Based on a
It's the
recent court
exact same
case,
thing?
if it has if that drawing has the third pinhole in it, then you just transfer the machine gun, even though it's just
Right.
printing on neoprene. But hey,
Exactly. But
ATF said
that's
so.
my whole point.
Yeah.
The level of concern here, like this is a sitting U.S. senator, Tim. This is not someone on a state level who has no prayer. This is a sitting U.S. senator.
Yeah.
And you literally are saying ban free speech because I want to ban the Second Amendment because I can, and that's all that's important for safety. It's just, it's exceedingly concerning.
Painful. What a great
Painfully
weekend.
so, I would agree.
Yeah.
It was, and that was only two of the other things we covered, Tim. We've got more later, but that's for another episode because I think we've got your blood pressure high enough right now. You know, I think we achieved our mission for Monday morning.
I would agree. Folks, if you enjoyed today's episode, comment down below. We love reading those comments. If you'd like to be part of our call-in show, there's a link in the video description below. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.